Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folarin. Okay, I can tell you straight off, my guest this morning is Ken Okolugbo. He's a politician, a public affairs analyst. Good morning, Ken.
Good morning.
It's
good to see you. At least in the studio. Last time I was on Skype.
You stayed away for far too long.
Yes.
And a lot has been happening in the polity. That's why we gave you a call. Say, Ken, it's about time we should chat.
Yes.
In particular, the PDP.
Okay.
The PDP is in something of a quandary, I would say, by which I mean that the whole furore that followed the selection of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar as the presidential candidate of the party now, of Governor Okowa, has sort of, it's caused a furore. People are, this is a political conversation, so you can't say pissed. He was annoyed. Governor Autumn, former Governor Fayoshe, those are just the public people. And there's so many people that are feeling that Atiku hasn't done right by the party. Their impression.
Okay.
Let me ask you how you see this whole matter.
Well, it depends on the perspective you want to look at it. In the first place, for some of us are from the South, we actually thought that the two political parties would go for having a candidate from the South, the two leading parties. And the two leading parties is APC and PDP. And so by the time they were talking about the party zoning the presidency to the South, it was expected that it would have been a situation of what we had in 1999. Remember the Falaye and the Obasanjo option, where Olufalaye ended up becoming the candidate of the APP and the Alliance of Democracy. But in this case, we already had two leading parties. And so I thought the PDP was also going to go that way of the South. And so when it now happened that it eventually gravitated towards the North, a few people were disappointed. Because the disappointment was already there. Because if you look at it, Buhari is the president of not the PDP, of not the APC alone. Buhari is the president of the APC and PDP. And so it is very, very uncommon for you to now say, because in the PDP tenure, they have had 14 years of the South and they've had 2 years of the North. And so it makes sense for you to throw the ticket open. You can't throw a ticket open and not expect to have the kind of results that they had. So it started from the foundation. And the Southern governors came together to say, when I mean the Southern governors, the APC governors and the PDP governors came together to say, look, we wanted the ticket to be zoned to the South. And if you look at it, at the end of the day, the APC kept to that agreement of going to the South. PDP didn't keep to his own agreement. So there was already bad blood amongst the Southern governors governors in the PDP, especially since two of their own, Wike and Udom, had thrown their hats into the ring. One would have expected that they would have supported either of the two. Well, it happened that the entire support didn't go that way.
And
some went up north, and so that was the bane of the whole crisis.
The way the PDP went, as you know, it's against their own constitution, I understand.
Yes, because the constitution of the PDP, I know, has rotational presidency entrenched in it. And that was why I gave that example of saying that Buhari was not only the president of the APC, he was also the president of the PDP. And let's even look at removing the sentiments of the South. Now, if a candidate has emerged, which was Atiku Abubakar, I would have expected that if he wanted to choose a running mate, the buck stops at his table. There was another mistake again. Well, there was the issue of him coming from the Fulani, and not like one is indicting the Fulani ethnic tribe here, but the president is Fulani, and he's seen that the Fulani man is going to take over from another Fulani man. That is not going down well with Nigerians as regards rotation. So while it was the dust of getting an Atiku, who is also a Fulani man from the Northeast, become the candidate, then he decided to set up a committee. You don't set up a committee and decide not to abide by it. Why didn't you just make your choice? Because the last time in 2019, I remember he chose Peter Obi. He didn't consult anybody. So since it was his prerogative, he should have also chose Okowa if he wanted to choose Okowa. Why set up a 17-man committee and they make a report and you gestation the report? That is why you see Autumn and Fayosha and the others are gathering a lot of sentiments and support. It's very clear because now Wike was the one that fought you in the primaries and gave you a hard fight because even though you won by over 100 delegates, it was seen that Wike might have won if Tambuwal didn't step down for Atiku. And if Wike can have 237 people, that means 237 local governments supporting him in a primary that had 1 delegate per local government. You can't just throw away that kind of a person. It shows the person is strong in the party. If I should take an example now, when Bola Tinubu emerged, as much as we condemn what has happened in the APC and think that the APC was going to implode, he visited all the candidates that contested with him, even to those that had 0 votes. I'm not saying Atiku didn't visit Wike, but it was obvious that there was no chemistry yet. And since there was no chemistry yet, and that same man has now been put up to become your vice president, you should have been more diplomatic about it. Even before you made the announcement, since you were not going to choose him, you should have been able to reach out to him. You should have been able to reach certain agreements. I'm not experienced as Atiku or Wike or others, but what I know as a public affairs analyst is that there are certain relationships that you can keep that goes beyond money. And so he handled it very, very, very wrongly. And before you could say Jack Robinson, he jetted out of the country to Dubai. And has been sending messages on Twitter. This was the reason I did condemn last time he ran for elections, that when he finishes elections, he goes to Dubai. And there was an election in Ekiti. And so while the house is burning, you're not physically around. There's some things you don't delegate.
Well,
as a leader.
Everybody has their own problems.
There's some things you don't delegate.
Even the APC has its own problems.
Of course, that's why I said that
even the APC
also
has
their
its own issues.
Okay, but at least where the PDP has also done better is at least they've chosen a vice president. The APC puts a placeholder. But again, if you look at it with wisdom, the placeholder has not cost a lot of bad blood. Now he's giving them time to negotiate. While people are saying, oh, Muslim ticket, we can't take Muslim ticket. Others are saying, oh, if you find a Christian is not going to be as strong as a Muslim northerner who will be able to garner votes for Tinubu. Because Atiku is a northerner. Tinubu is a southerner. I don't think there is no way you can compare the votes that will come from Adamawa for Tinubu to an Atiku. They will vote more for Atiku in Adamawa. Maybe in Kano, they will not vote for Atiku now because of Kwakwanso. But Tinubu and Atiku also struggle votes in Kano. They will be coming behind Kwakwanso to struggle votes. Maybe in Katsina, because of Buhari now, they will vote for Tinubu. You understand? Of course, Tinubu in the Southwest, they expect him to do excellently well in the Southwest. Then in the South region, where Atiku is expected to do excellently well, that is the region now that is in turmoil. Well, because that is where Wike comes from.
You could even say...
Apart from Delta, where Okowa is expected to deliver on
whereas it's a headache to the PDP, the Board of Trustees chair and the chairman of the party, I imagine APC is just looking at all of that and chuckling to itself, saying, you know, it's okay, you know, just no comments, just let them continue. Because, you know, pundits can see that if they don't sort this out, it is working very much in favor of the APC. But
I'm sure you miss APC will be missing Lai Mohammed as their spokesman now. Because when he was their spokesman, you know what he will be doing at this point in time.
But to go back to something you pointed out, Alhaji Atiku, he set up this committee to help him make the decision.
Yes.
17-man committee, I understand.
Not even the 17, the caliber of people, the former governors.
What I'm saying is that 14 of those people made recommendation in one direction, only 3 deferred, whatever that direction is. But the 14 that did make up their mind were saying that, you know, Wike is the man.
That is what Autumn has told us today.
That is what
Autumn was a member of the committee.
And Autumn was a member of the committee.
Nobody has.
So why that happened, there must be some political, strategic reasons that are known to Atiku Abubakar. Because at the end of the day, you got to work with someone you're compatible with. And you're
that's why I said the buck stops at his table. That was where he has made 2 fatal mistakes. One, you don't set up a committee when you are not sure, you can't teleguide the committee. He had a choice of teleguiding the committee by making them choose who he wanted. No, but why set up a committee at all?
Because it was being democratic.
When the box stops at your table.
Because it was being democratic.
The committee he has set up now is tearing the party apart.
But you surely you can see that.
It's tearing the party apart because
it must have seemed to Atiku
yes.
that this was the democratic thing to do in the interest of the party.
The fear now,
the
fear now, Uncle Yori, is if he's not yet commander-in-chief and just a committee that he set up to advise him on who he picks or who he chooses as his vice president, gestations it. What happens when he becomes a commander-in-chief? That means the majority will never carry the day, which is what democracy is. That is why he should never have set up that committee in the first place. I think nobody needs to fault anybody but Atiku. He takes the blame. The buck stops at his table. He knows who he can work with that will be compatible with him. He knows who he can work with, who can carry his vision. And so he should have left it at that.
The BOT chair has been appealing to members of the PDP to please be a lot more reticent in their utterances, because the talk has got to the level of, quite frankly, let's see how Atiku is going to proceed. Now, if this is the way it's going to go. So it just very well could end up, maybe getting ahead of myself a bit, it could end up costing the PDP very dearly.
If you remember what was the problem we had, it was when Amechi had 16 votes and Jang had 9, and 16 became greater than 9. That was the beginning of when the PDP. Then, good luck, Jonathan.
Okay, 16 is bigger than 9.
Of course, but Jang was rather recognized than Amechi.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Okay.
And that was the beginning of when PDP had the problems until the elections where APC now took over.
You know, I've heard.
So it's not you try to play these things. This 14-3 now that has become a common knowledge, an open secret. If the PDP doesn't handle it very well, in my own analysis, it could come back to haunt them, because they would play like, oh no, it's a family affair. But the lot of bad blood that has gone in, especially because they didn't stand by the southern region. Look at the Southern People's Assembly, the PANDEF, look at the Afenifere, look at Ohaneze, look at even the Middle Belt decided to reject the choice of Okowa because of the issue of the fact that the Southern president of Southern extraction was not, they didn't stand by it. And even Tinubu, that the likes of people like our leader, Papa Clark, was kicking against at a particular point in time, he's not even talking about it anymore because a Southerner has emerged in the APC. Well, so that was it. So politics is a game of tactics. It's a game. You must have the strategy. The strategy of getting Atiku now to win the northern votes might not work now with Kwakwansu leaving the party, because for the first time, Kwakwansu is going to stand for an election as a candidate.
What do you think?
And you also have an Obi who has also left the PDP.
What do you think of the conditions?
A lot of
Wike himself has been sort of allegedly setting conditions.
Yeah.
For instance, Wike's camp is reported to have said that Ayu must go.
No, but the thing about Ayu is that
I don't know.
With the PDP constitution, Ayu cannot even continue to become. Ayu cannot continue with the chairmanship of the party. The constitution is very clear. Once the president has come from the northern, that's presidential candidate has come from the north, it's only normal that it will shift down south. If you notice, when the PDP had their convention to choose the national leadership of the party, that's the National Working Committee, all the positions of the south went to the north. All the positions of the north came to the south. That's exactly what was done. So now that the presidential candidate has emerged and is a northerner, definitely Ayu cannot remain in that position. He would have to give way for someone from the south, which is what it is normally. But it depends on what the party decides, but that is what it should be.
Okay,
that shouldn't even be a condition.
In the sense that that is likely to happen.
Yes.
It has to happen.
And he also said it himself, he said it himself, that if a president emerges from the north, a presidential candidate, then I will leave.
As I said, PDP is one of the big ones. Is the main opposition party.
Yes.
And if they have found themselves on this slippery slope, it must be music to the ears of all the other parties, not just the ruling party.
No, but it's giving other parties an advantage. Look at the Atiku, for example, of the ADC.
It is.
ADC came fourth in Ekiti. He was there to campaign. I saw the campaign and I was shocked. I didn't know that there could be an alternative party that could carry that much crowd in Ekiti State. And by the time I saw the results of the election, they came forth. I also saw maybe in Sokoto, and I saw the crowd he also gathered in Sokoto. So it's also giving these other parties, that's a very important aspect you've looked at it from. It's giving them that hope that we can come up
of
now.
Course.
With this crisis,
that if PDP messes up,
yes.
It's going to be to advantage. Ada from Jos, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Yori and your guest there, Mr. Ken Okolugbo. Let me tell you something, Mr. Yori. The VP crisis in PDP can be likened to a man in deep romance with a lady for over 20 years. And when it was time for him to choose a life partner, he said he wouldn't choose her because she wasn't a wife material. If Atiku knew he would not respect the recommendation of the 17-man committee, why did he give a nod to such a process, which has now become an effort in futility? If he had just appealed to the committee to allow him pick his running mate, it would have been the way to go. Now, the first political gymnastics meted out on Governor Wike was during the primaries. You saw what happened there. That, stepping down by Governor of Sokoto, it was not done in a proper form. He spoke before, then he came back. And Wike swallowed that for the interest of the party. This is the second time. Politicians should stop playing politics without principles. In the words of Mahatma Gandhi, to believe in something and not live it is dishonest. I pray PDP is able to resolve this mess amicably to avoid what happened to the cocoyam when the underground water killed it. Let me leave it there. Let's not give up on this country.
All right. Thank you.
This one is a great analyst. Where was she calling from?
And she calls from Jos.
Okay, she's a regular caller.
Oh, she's a frequent caller.
She nailed it.
Almost every day.
She nailed it there. I don't think there's anything to add to this kind of but that's exactly what I said. Why do you set up a committee in the first place? It's like you're working from answer to the question. Well, is that not what it is? It's working from the answer to the question.
Where I'm standing,
I think he also
where I'm standing at, I thought it was an attempt to be seen as being democratic.
Okay, as if it was an attempt of being democratic,
the buck stops on his desk.
Table.
But he said, nevertheless, help me, guys. A committee, 17 guys
to make a choice.
14 of them say Wike is the man. And then you go and do something else.
Because he would easily not have found himself in this quagmire if he didn't set up that committee. And he would, and where I also fault the nature of what has also happened. You now announce the vice presidential candidate, and suddenly you are off to Dubai. And there's a very important election coming from Ekiti. And you found a Tinubu going to Ekiti to go and campaign with all the governors.
And you didn't go.
And you didn't go. Then, I gave you the example of also Dumebi, who is seen as one of the new forces coming up, going to Ekiti to go and campaign. Now his candidate is coming forth. I'm not saying that if Atiku went to Ekiti, that means Kolawole would have won. That's not what I'm trying to say. But it would have boosted the morale of Kolawole.
Okay.
And so you can see
Emmanuel
PDP came third in that election.
Good morning, sir. Emmanuel Otukpo, Benue State. Oh, I guess we lost the connection with him. Now, of course, why is Wike hurting this bad? Why? Because, as I said, the chairman of PDP and the board of trustees chairman, they've all warned that this rhetoric that's going out could very easily, wound the party mortally.
The fear is...
Now, why does Wike feel this bad about it? After all, he's a party man. I guess because he's given most, allegedly, to the sustenance of the PDP ever since it lost power.
No, I think you're right with that, looking at it from that perspective. But there was something that Autumn said. Autumn said Wike didn't actually want to be the vice president, that they convinced him.
Wike didn't?
Yes, he said Wike didn't look at becoming a vice president. That they are the ones that convinced him that for us to move forward, we should be able to accept the vice presidency. I think he confirmed that Makinde, the only Southwest governor, worked for Wike. He himself, Autumn, worked for Wike. The ones from the Southeast worked for Wike. And the South-South was where there was a problem. There was no unity to work for Wike. Odom was also running. But the important aspect here is, like you rightly said, he's hurting because if I say I didn't want something, and now it is now in the public domain, that I was even now the one that was selected, so to say, from what Autumn has said, and I was not giving it, I will hurt. Like, for example, in Delta.
Sorry, 1 second, because Reverend Dominic has come on the line.
All right.
Let's take in his contribution as well. Good morning, Reverend Dominic.
Good morning, Chief Jury. Good morning, my pseudo friend, Ken Okolugbo. Ken, how are you?
Thank you. I'm fine.
And Ken, you are shifting ground to my own side. You know, you are not a good friend of mine because of your position in PDP and what I believe. But Ken, let me ask a direct question. Ken, if you are Atiku, will you choose Wike? You remember the story of Obasanjo and Atiku? A strong man, heavily financed, have national Pseudo at his back. You know what he did to Obasanjo. If I were Atiku, I wouldn't choose Wike. The mistake he made was to set up that panel. Maybe he was thinking the panel will go the right way around, but he didn't understand it well. There's no way Wike and Atiku will govern Nigeria and we have peace. You know that very well. So I supported Atiku, but his mistake was setting up the panel. That's the issue. If I were Atiku, I would choose a man I would control. Atiku cannot control Wike. That's true. That's what happened to Obasanjo Atiku presidency. That was war. We went through all those 8 years. So I supported Atiku. But the issue is that when people want to be Democrats in their head and not Democrats in their heart, that's the problem of Nigeria. God bless Nigeria.
Well, thank you very much, Reverend Dominic. You see, where Reverend
I think Dominic has
he
answered the question now. Because he was saying that he supports Atiku. Nobody is saying that it was what we're saying is the same thing Dominic is saying. Then why set up a committee? He answered it. You have an answer to the question.
But he also added that Wike will be uncontrollable. His word
I think that
will be uncontrollable. Wait a minute. I beg your pardon, sir.
Yes.
And it would indeed be ironic if there were to be no issue and he chose Wike, and then, continuing this analogy, he became president with Wike as vice president. It would be ironic because former President Obasanjo has said Atiku gave him hell when he was in office. It would be ironic if Wike is now giving Atiku hell.
Yeah, I like what you're trying to say. Yeah, because Atiku knows what he did when he was vice president.
I don't
know
anything.
So he doesn't want a vice president that'll be like that.
But,
no, what I'm saying is that Okowa is not. Is Okowa a demon? Is Okowa not a governor? Is Okowa not a two-term governor? Is Okowa not a senator? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So they shouldn't try to demonize Okowa.
No, nobody's demonizing Okowa.
For some people, they believe that, Okowa is someone that they can just control. Do you understand?
Okay.
That's the impression he has given
that
now.
Is not demonizing.
Are you getting?
Okay, I understand you.
For him, he's control. So the other ones are demonizing Okowa because they see him as someone who has betrayed the entire South because he wanted the vice presidency.
Okay, so what was he supposed to do? He was supposed
to say,
I'm trying to say is
that
as a man of principle,
he wasn't the one that
you
chose.
Can't pick me.
He wasn't the one that actually chose himself. The man picked him. But when the man made a mistake, was setting up the committee.
Okay,
let's going against the committee and going against the committee report. The buck stops at Atiku's table. Okay. Nobody should look at Okowa or Wike at this point. Atiku has made a fundamental mistake,
let's get Emmanuel
and he's
back.
Not holding it.
Let's get Emmanuel back.
He's not holding
Emmanuel,
on to
thank
it.
you for calling back. Emmanuel in Okowa. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Uncle Yori. Greetings to your guest, Mr. Ken.
Indeed, he can hear you. Thank you.
I'm proud of you, Mr. Yori, because of your intelligence and you're a very smart journalist. Your ability to bring in the best all the time for your interviews, I like it. And I want to appreciate Ken. I've followed Ken for a very long time, even if it is a channel or TVC. Each time Ken comes on board, I like his analysis. And I want to encourage him to continue with his analysis. When his party is in the wrong, he does not shy away from blaming. He will condemn outrightly. And when the opposition is right, he gives them kudos the same way. That is the way to be a good politician and a good patriotic Nigerian at that. So, Ken, I encourage you. This the winner takes it all syndrome in Nigeria is our problem. If not, when you win, you are supposed to look across to the other party and look at the eggheads there and select them to give them position for this country to work. So that we'll stop this politics of promises and not performance. When people like Ken and others who have what it takes to dish out wonderful performance in this country are given position, I know that Nigeria will move forward. Thank you, Uncle Yori. Thank you, Ken.
Thank you,
God
sir.
bless Nigeria.
Thank you, sir. And for your effort in calling back.
He has promoted me. Maybe you should give me a position, Uncle Yori.
Let me go back to something that he said.
Yes.
He likes your analysis because you shoot from the hips, as it were. You tell it like it is. With that kind of a trajectory, how much longer do you think you're going to remain within the PDP? Because it has been said that, guys, please, can we close ranks? Stop, whether you want to call it truth, stop saying all these things that can wound the party.
No, the thing about the PDP is the PDP did not see themselves as being in the opposition for up to 8 years.
You're using themselves. We didn't see ourselves, is what I would have.
No, for now, I have to use themselves. I'm here as a political and public affairs analyst.
Okay.
They didn't see themselves as being out of power for 8 years. And it has become very, alien to them.
And that's
that
where
they can be out of this
and
power.
that's where Wike was a godsend to the party.
Wike was not only a godsend, Wike was more like the rock.
Yes.
That kept the party.
Everybody knows it.
You understand? And I think Atiku also underestimated the powers that Wike could exert in the party. I believe so. Because if he did not underestimate those powers, he wouldn't have set up this committee. Now, look at how many weeks...
Hoping somebody else would help him choose someone else.
Yes, look at how many weeks he's made this choice. It has refused to leave the front burner. It is threatening to destroy the fabric of the party. And it could also affect the Oshu elections.
By the way, Wike,
because Atiku is not
he's
not in Oshu already.
Atiku is a member of the Reconciliation Committee, an interesting committee, the sort of a reconciliation committee.
No, they don't even need to put up a committee.
Wait, it has Wike in it.
Yes.
It has Okowa in it. It has 14 PDP governors.
It has just about
everybody.
If you ask
all of you make a beeline to Wike's office or house or wherever and meet with him to do what?
If you ask my opinion, looking at it from this perspective, it is Atiku. I don't see why you're putting up any committee. Atiku needs to go to Wike.
There's been no indication. There's been no indication that is moving in that direction yet.
And they could.
And if there is, it hasn't been published.
Yes, that's exactly what it should be. He took the decision. No other person took the decision. So he should be the one to go to Wike. And maybe when he finishes with Wike, Wike can now call his people to say, "Oh, he has come." And this is the situation of things. Okay, Wike can tell him that, okay, Atiku, you hold on. I need to call a lot of people that have been offended. You can't talk to me alone. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? You talk to my army of supporters. And there are so many people that also believe
Wike won't like that. I mean, Atiku won't like any of all of
No, but that is what you have to do as a leader. You can't want
You're going to have to eat humble pie, right?
You must stoop to conquer.
Indeed. In fact, Ruben Abati used it used that very expression, stooping to conquer,
yes,
in a column he wrote yesterday.
You can't continue to grandstand and just wave away people and say this person doesn't matter, this one doesn't matter to help. That's a mistake parties make. They underestimate people, and by the time they know it, they've lost.
It's too late.
It's too late.
Even the APC is at its own crossroads, according to one paper this morning over the Muslim ticket. Sylvester has called in from Dutse. Good morning to you, sir.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Ayori.
Thank you for holding on. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the program, but it's like these days, Mr. Ken and this thing, they're always emphasizing on this Atiku. Atiku has made his own choice. Out of the 17 committee, they choose 3. And he chose governor of Delta State. What is wrong there? Out of 3, they did not recommend only one person. You understand? So why is it that maybe you people don't make this, we really enjoy TVC news. Don't make TVC news as a political, as maybe is a APC something. Thank you. This is my control because...
We're talking about PDP here.
This is a family...
Sylvester has gone.
Hello, can you hear me?
I didn't understand that. We discussed APC, but today we're discussing PDP.
But even yesterday, I do follow your program. You understand? Even yesterday and day before yesterday, somebody called from Warri yesterday and say, you people should not make this TVC news as an APC because remember, this is about family issue. And there is no democracy. This is about his own choice, right? And if you remember, this 17th panel, they make 3 recommendations. which is Akwa Ibom governor and Ifeanyi and Mr. Wike. Out of 3, he makes one person. He cannot choose 3 of them. He must choose one person. Are you saying that maybe after choosing Wike, these 2 people will not complain?
Okay. All right then.
But it will not be. Atiku is not perfect, and there's a lot of problem in APC. But why you people, and after all, even in this country now, people are dying every day. This should not be a problem that people are just like issue of Atiku.
Okay, Sylvester. I'm not going to argue with you. Thank you very much for calling in, sir. We respect your point of view as well.
Maybe where Sylvester doesn't understand it is
that
you're discussing PDP.
Yes.
And
he's using 3. 3 people differed. 14 people of that 17-man committee said Wike is the man.
What he's saying is that Wike was recommended, because what I'm saying, it was in order of Wike, Okowa, and Udom.
Okay.
What he's saying is that he was given 3 names.
Yes.
And Atiku chose one.
And he didn't choose the top one.
It's an internal affair.
It's an internal affair which one he chooses. Okay.
Which one he's choosing.
Okay,
That's what
Sylvester
was trying to say.
I get you.
And why is there this brouhaha about it? Atiku has made this choice. What he's failing to understand is, what I'm saying as a public affairs analyst is, you didn't have to set up a committee. You should have just made your choice. If the buck stops at your table. Now, as a leader, there are certain choices you
Politicians
make.
like
it might not look popular, but at the end of the day, it will be a good choice.
Yeah.
It's like when Fashola became the governor of Lagos State. A lot of people condemned Tinubu.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, today, Fashola is one of the governors that they refer to as one of the best governors.
Two things you can
extrapolate. That has happened. So it's also.
I think you can extrapolate 2 things here.
In those circumstances.
2 things you can extrapolate, and it is guesswork, I'll admit. Atiku didn't want Wike, but the committee, he was hoping, would give him an option not to choose Wike.
He shouldn't have even set up a committee at all.
I've heard that.
Necessary.
Politicians like cover now.
But
There's
no law, there's nothing in his party that says set up a committee.
Still, you want to be seen as a Democrat.
In 2019,
you want to be seen as a Democrat,
what I'm saying
right?
is that in 2019, he didn't set up a committee. So why set up a committee this time around?
Well.
And don't stand by what their recommendation. That is the bad blood that is happening. But what Nigerians are talking about now is that they don't want to buy diesel at 800 naira anymore, Uncle Yori.
There's so many things that Nigerians are talking about.
I bought diesel at 800 naira and I'm crying.
Exactly.
We're having 4 queues in Abuja. They're looking for a president that can get them out of the doldrums.
Mr. Yakub, good morning to you, sir. It's been quite a while.
Yeah, it's a very good morning, sir. It is some other engagement that take me.
Okay.
Good morning, Mr. Okolugbo.
Good morning.
Yeah, for the second time, I do agree with you because of our political.
Yakub,
you
will agree.
You used to disagree with me.
Yakub is one of the foremost TV supporters of APC, even though he has expressed his anger at some of the inaction of President Buhari.
This to 800 naira.
Wait! Don't go. You're not an anchor. Please carry on, sir.
You see, one thing about some of us is that we just don't support APC because of our personal interest. Do you know that even nobody in the hierarchy of APC know who Yakubu is, or else they had my voice in TVC?
Of course, I understand that perfectly. You're right.
We support them because we need a very good governance. Do you get it? And then this time around, in person of Ashwat Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we are going to get it right. There's no doubt about it. But I will say that, Okolugbo, you see, the last caller, he made a mistake. I'm sorry to say this. It's like he did not follow the discussion right from the time. One thing is this. I want the last caller to tell me one television station that's giving him right to call and make his own submission. One in this country, except TVC. Because TVC gives us opportunity to bear our minds, whether you are in opposition or you are a ruling party or you support, whoever you support, you have right to call to TVC, especially this morning and your fear and the journalists hangout. So I give kudos to TVC station because it's the only television station I've ever seen in this country give us that right. I will say that, Chief Jori, you see, Okolugbo have already said it, and then he hit it at the right place. You are a leader. You know the person you really want to be your running mate. Why did you set up the committee in the first place? This is not Sylvester got it right, wrong rather. Is that you set up a committee
14 or 13 of 20 say that it is wicked, and then only 3 or 4 people say it is other person, and then you went ahead and go for the 3. So what are you saying? Even now you are not become a president of this country. If you have a problem in this country and then you set up a committee, you would rather go for the minority decision. So where is he going to head up to? So I would say that if Jerry other call and other pray that the PDP get it right and settle wicked, I pray they will not get it right by God's grace. They should not get it right.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yaku.
This is an unrepentant APC
of course,
supporter.
there are quite a number of them that do call in. But then the unique thing with the people that call in and support APC and its policies on our program is that they usually, will hand it to APC when they think they're doing wrong.
No, but he's vociferous. But he should accept now that the economy is very bad. The misery index is at an all-time high. The unemployment and inflation is at the highest we've ever had in this country. 33%. Yeah, that's the misery index. When you add the two of them together, when you add unemployment and inflation, you get the misery index. The misery index is at an all-time high. Like I said earlier, I'm buying diesel at 800 naira. It's nobody would have dreamt of that happening in the country as it is right now.
Let me hear from Mr. George in Ikeja. Good morning to you, Mr. George.
Good morning, Uncle Yori, and good morning to Ken.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Uncle Yori, let me start from where Ken just stopped. I want to remind him that it was PDP government that deregulated diesel, not Buhari.
No, I agree. I didn't say Buhari deregulated.
This is the consequence of deregulation in a country that does not have a strong currency. So, but apart from that, I want to start by wondering why Ken has not decamped from PDP. It seems to be a material that is a governorship material. I'm sure if he had come to APC, they would have feeded him in data. That's by the way. What is at stake now?
But by the way, why have you not decamped from the PDP?
Am I a member of PDP? Did I come to this program as a member of PDP? I came to the program as a public affairs analyst.
Okay,
don't make me the topic.
I don't know if I should read that as Ken saying that he's not a member of the PDP anymore.
I said let's try and stay on the Atiku topic.
All right.
Okay. So please continue, sir.
It's just a personal advice. I didn't mean to attack.
No, thank you. I appreciate your advice. I'm humbled.
And keep your ear to the ground.
I'm humbled.
Okay, Eric. The point at which the PDP southern governors should have come in, they didn't come in. It was at that point when they agreed that the ticket should be thrown open. If you know that your constitution says it is rotational and it is the turn of the South, why did you agree that the ticket should be thrown open? So the fact that they did not resist it at that point is what is happening now. Because if you throw the ticket open, things like what we are experiencing now they are inevitable. So if Atiku is choosing Okowa, the mistake he made, just like Ken pointed out, is because he didn't need a committee for it if he already had in mind the person he can work with. So it's like shooting himself in the foot.
And that's the truth.
Yes.
I mean, that's so apt.
It was a miscalculation.
It was like shooting himself in the foot, walking from answer to question.
Okay.
And he has refused to accept. You know, one thing about a leader is when you accept that I've gone wrong. One thing I've noticed about Atiku Abubakar is that no matter how you criticize Atiku Abubakar, he doesn't accept it. And it's not a very good hallmark of a leader who wants to become the commander-in-chief. When you become the commander-in-chief, well, how would you not accept it? Because you're looking at just this decision. If he wins his election and becomes the commander-in-chief.
Did he get choosing Wike wrong? Or did he get setting up
the committee?
He wouldn't have chosen Wike, is the point.
That is why he should never have set up a committee.
So we're saying the same thing.
But he doesn't want to accept that he was wrong there. At this material point in time, has
anybody got a hold of Atiku to speak to him?
No, he's been sending tweets. The tweets have been largely tweets that is just dancing around it. Nigeria has gone beyond that. Look at the Obi phenomenon that is just going everywhere. Yes, it's on social media. It's because Nigerians are tired. They're looking for a change. Is that not why I can tell you about Dumebi's, Kachuku, and the ADC coming forth?
Do you think it's an irredeemable situation for the PDP, or they will come out of this as the BOT chair and the chairman of the party want the party to? Fayose
has completely made his case. He said he said he is spotted. He's at one local, South. I'm not Yoruba, but that is the turn of the South. And so for a PDP leader in Ekiti, who just maybe is smarting from the loss of the election to say it is the turn of the South, he tells you so much.
And then Autumn
says he's hibernating. That
he said he's still waiting on God.
Yeah, to know if he should support Atiku.
To know if he should support.
Where it's from.
Yes.
And you can tell about the other governors too. The way their body language is sounding, that they are not so happy.
What do you think in theory? Yes. Let's go a bit theoretical for a few seconds. I know we want to be factual, but let's be theoretical. So what do you think Atiku Abubakar could do to redeem this situation?
What Atiku can do is he should humble himself, he should go to Wike, he should sit with him, he should give him his reasons. Those are the reasons that only Wike deserves to hear. He doesn't have to say it in the public domain. These are the reasons why he did this, these are the reasons why he did this. And I need you as a party man to continue to support me and also make promises. Because he's looking at the 4 years, if they take over power, of being in government. Wike must also think of his political future.
I don't know if he contacted Wike before making public the Okowa choice, but you would have thought
From what Autumn said, I doubt if he did.
So you see, that's a problem. Okay, let me...
maybe Okowa also needs to...
Larry in the UK. Larry in the UK has called in. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning.
Larry,
Uncle
calling in from London.
Yes. Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir.
And good morning to Mr. Ken.
Yes.
Morning.
Yeah. I want to buttress what somebody, a man from Utupo, that's the reason why I'm calling when he was commending Mr. Ken. And I've been watching him. I know he works, he's been a commissioner, Despo Tech or something like that in Delta State.
There's so part of
the
commissioner there.
I'm so impressed.
And also the House of Representatives.
I'm so impressed with his analysis, unbiased analysis. I mean, politics, we should not be blindfolded with political interest or whatever. Objectivity is very, very important. The analysis has been spot on. I know he came today as not as a PDP member. He came as a political analyst, and he lived up to that. And I want to commend him, and I want to commend you, sir, for the good job being done. And on the issue of Atiku, I think Atiku just shot himself on the foot. A man, was this Sylvester, was saying something that was so funny to me. This man created a problem. That is why there is problem. That is why people are upset. And he is calling from wherever is he calling from to condemn your TV and people who are talking about this issue. It's not the people that created the issue. It is Atiku that created the problem for the party and for himself. And people are talking about it. And somebody somewhere blaming other people is just not right. He has shot himself on the foot, and he has not taken the right step to remedy the problem he has created. He traveled to Dubai. How is the problem going to be solved in Dubai? Sending messages through Twitter, this and that. Instead of him to go to Wike and talk to him, man to man. This man is being hurted. He lost the presidential, the ticket. He was to be chosen as the vice. 70 people sat down,
liberated,
and 14 was in favor of this man. And you think the man is just going to take it like that. It doesn't happen like that. So at the end of the day, he has created a problem which will be very difficult for him to solve, whether he likes this or not. And Tinubu has delayed, and other people who are not shooting their flag bearers now. I think they are on the better advantage to to make the right choice. So, what I can say, he has shot himself on the foot.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Larry. Appreciate your calling in.
I think they made this, it's popular now, saying shot himself on the foot. And I think that's exactly what he did.
Yeah.
He shot himself on the foot. Now, instead of people to concentrate on his programs, they're others concentrating on the mistake that he has made.
Exactly.
Well, he doesn't want to quickly tackle.
It's a political
he doesn't
season.
want to quickly tackle the mistake. He sits down in Dubai and he's tweeting. I mean,
people have commended your forthrightness.
Yeah, but that's the truth.
They've commended your forthrightness,
in Nigeria, you
considering
have to be
your affiliations.
I'd rather you tell me that my mouth is smelling than an outsider telling me that my mouth is smelling.
Now, it doesn't.
And that's the truth about
it doesn't look,
most of these are leaders.
Look very good.
They're like yes men. Those that surround themselves, we tell them the only things that they want to hear. And that's where we have gotten ourselves in this country.
Whereas it doesn't look very good for the PDP presidential candidate. There also is the other point that not too many people are paying attention to. Atiku probably feels he can't work with Wike, is why he's not going to choose him.
But that is the same reason they're saying that he walked from answer to question. He already knew. So why set up the committee? It still boils down to all what was said.
That was a miscalculation. My humble guess is that was a miscalculation.
Yes,
he was hoping somebody else would pull his chestnut out of the fire for him.
I'm aware
and
that,
he can then say that it's not me. I have someone else on the line. Daniel in Rivers. Good morning, Daniel.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in, sir. Go ahead, please.
Yes, I have been listening to the analysis so far, and then I sincerely appreciate the depth of the analysis. But three things stands out for me, and then, which is one, Autumn, who made this revelation to Nigerians, is the same man who was empowered to either decide whether the presidency should go to the South or should be thrown open. His committee thrown the contest open. That is one. Two, Governor Wike tied himself too, where he went to the convention and made, when he was addressing the delegates, and he said to the whole world that he would stand by the decision of what happened there that night. Three, you see, the fact that Atiku set up a committee, the committee's terms of reference didn't say whoever that is chosen there must be, but that things should be passed to him and he decides he has a final decision. But the idea of taking that away from Atiku, for me, it doesn't make any sense. He has the final decision to be made. And unfortunately, we take part of that decision. And Okowa is that decision that he has made. I think one that we need to do is to first respect his decision. Two is to look at going forward, what should be done.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
He was actually wrong there. Autumn wasn't the head of the committee. Guanyi was the head of the committee. Autumn was his assistant in the committee. And that was what we traced earlier. I said the decision of throwing open the ticket was where this whole thing started from. Then the second aspect he also tried to point out is, I don't think Wike didn't stand with the result. He stood by the result, and Atiku visited him.
Okay, well, we've run out of time, I'm being told, and I want to thank you very much, very, Sir Ken Okolugbo, public affairs
Thank you, Uncle
analyst.
Yori. It's good to be back to the studio.
Indeed.
Yes.
As I was saying,
I look forward to coming
people
again.
have admired your analysis.
Yes.
It remains to see how long you will remain in the PDP with the clarity of your analysis.
I would have won.
But thank you very much. Thank you very much for
so
coming
much.
on.
My pleasure.
Okay, so that's our program. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I'm Yori Polarin. Bye-bye for now.